Major support for Out to Lunch is provided by the law firm of Jones Walker, established in 1937 with over 375 attorneys in offices throughout the U.S., providing a comprehensive range of services to a local, national, and international client base. JonesWalker.com. And by Short & Associates, legal recruiters in Louisiana and Texas. And by Wyndham Garden Lafayette.
From Cafe Vermilionville in Lafayette, we're out to lunch with creative business consultant Aileen Bennett. It's business, Acadiana style.
Hi, I'm Aileen Bennett. Welcome to Out to Lunch. In 1994, a guy called Jeff Bezos was working in banking when he decided to start his own business, selling books online. Most people thought it was a stupid idea for two reasons. One, nobody wanted to give a complete stranger their credit card number. And two, if you wanted to buy a book, why wouldn't you just go down to the local bookstore? In the face of withering criticism and years of phenomenal financial losses, Bezos persisted with his online shopping idea. Today, his company, Amazon, drives global commerce, and Jeff Bezos is one of the wealthiest people in the world. Following in Bezos' logic-defying footsteps, other entrepreneurs were emboldened to launch startups based on what seemed like crazy ideas that turned into Facebook, Uber, Tinder, Tesla, and thousands of others, some successful, some not. Local business person Laurel Hess has a startup business. It's called Hampr. It's spelled Hampr. That spelling might remind you of another local startup with a missing vowel, Waitr. The similarity is not insignificant. You can think of Hampr as the Waitr of laundry. Hampr is an app that will have someone show up at your house, pick up your dirty laundry, take it back to their house, clean it, and deliver it back to you. Is this a crazy idea that's going to crash and burn, or is it the next big thing that will make Laurel Hess a billionaire? Laurel, welcome to Out to Lunch.
Thank you.
Tracy Payco had a crazy idea too. She made a connection between lonely pets and lonely people. Specifically, pets whose owners needed someone to look after them while owners are away from home, and elderly people who are still active but forced to spend long hours alone. In May 2017, Tracy launched her elder people pet care business under the name Paws and Pawpaws. Today, business is booming, and like Amazon's progression from selling books to selling everything, the affectionate Pawpaws are part of an expanding doggy care pet service that includes boarding and grooming. Tracy, welcome to Out to Lunch.
Thank you.
Laurel, I mentioned that when Amazon started, critics said it was a crazy idea because no one would give their credit card number to a stranger. When Uber started, critics said no one would get into the car with a stranger. Your business idea, Hampr, is based on handing over your clothes to a stranger. I can see why critics might think people would be hesitant to do that. Is handing over your personal dirty laundry to a stranger, in fact, turning out to be a point of resistance in launching Hampr?
I mean, some people have mentioned that they don't feel comfortable with people washing their dirty underwear, but I just say don't put your underwear in the hamper. You know, I mean, it's whatever you feel comfortable with. And I do think the Uber comparison is pretty spot on because I would never have gotten in a car with a stranger if you just told me about it. But it's so mainstream now that I think that Hampr will be that way for other people. They'll just not even think about it.
And there are plenty of people that drop off their laundry somewhere and have to go and pick it up after it's clean. So this is no different to that.
Right, exactly.
So what other points of resistance have you met?
Some people, they are very particular about their detergent that they use. So we actually designed the Hampr to have a pocket where they could actually put their own detergent in the pocket. And that way they don't have to sacrifice the detergent they like. That's been one thing. The other thing is hang dry, which is very, it's difficult logistically because we're using people who are working from their homes. So they are going to have a ton of people's laundry all over their house drying for 24 hours, which is our turnaround time. So we're actually looking at smaller drying racks that people can have so they can actually do hang drying and then fold it.
Because those of us that hang dry, especially things like sweaters, we're very particular about this bit must touch the corner and it must fold there and it can't do this.
Yes. Yeah, that and the consistency because we're using contractors to do the work basically. So we have to make sure that everyone's folding the same way so that, well, you know, if you get your laundry done by Susie, she does it the same way that Mary does it, you know. So when you get it back, it's what you're expecting.
I have more questions. Tracy, Paws and Pawpaws is a kind of sweet and catchy idea that may be offered once a month by a church. Paws and Pawpaws is far from that. Despite the cute name, it's a serious business. One of the great things about being a retired person is the freedom from having to show up at a job every day. But to run a dog care business, the one thing you need, other than dogs, is for people to show up reliably to take care of them. How much of your workforce at Paws and Pawpaws is really pawpaws?
So actually none of my workforce are the elderly. The elderly are just a volunteer component that come in that provide some extra love and attention for the dogs.
So when people drop their dogs off, there's actually a qualified person looking after
We're
them.
fully staffed, all hours that we're operating. So the add-on bonus is for everybody, for the paws and for the dogs, is having that volunteer component, that aspect, that extra love, that extra attention. So our staff may be more concerned with supervision and safety, so they may not have time to coddle your little pup because they're kind of supervising play to make sure everybody's playing safely.
Pawpaws and mamas can come along and they can just like tickle ears and fall asleep. And
we have some benches. We have some that take them for walks because we have a little walking trail.
I'm making my that's cute face.
It's really been a fantastic dream to watch it come alive.
So which idea came first? Did you really just want a dog business and this was a catchy idea?
No, I really wanted to work with old people and dogs. So I managed an assisted living for a while, and I watched a lot of people have to give up their dogs to be able to move in. And to lose that companion, that might be the only thing you have, that's a constant in your life. So to be able to lose that. So I really 8 or 9 years ago told my husband, that's what I want to do, old people and dogs, and put the two together and just made it work, and it's working, and it's awesome.
I love these ideas. Laurel, your idea comes down to an app. What goes into an app development? Because it's easy to have an idea, and but what has gone into the app development?
It's a lot more than I thought it would be right out the gate. It is not just one app, it's actually two. So we had to make an app that the consumers could use to actually order the laundry service, the pickup and the delivery, and how they want the laundry done. And then the other app is what the washers will use to claim orders, pick up orders, optimize our routes.
Because the genius of your idea is just like the pawpaws, it has those two things. It means that somebody who's at home with a washing machine could make extra money that day by washing somebody's clothes, as well as people getting their clothes. It's that double workforce idea for both of you.
That's, for us, that was one of the huge satisfying parts of Hampr, was that these people cannot join the gig economy workforce because they're homebound. It's a lot of retirees, stay-at-home parents, work-at-home parents, people who just work from home in general, and they can't drive an Uber in the middle of the day. They have to be home. So this gives them an opportunity to have an extra income and support their family that way.
So what happens if the person doing the laundry, they deliver it back, they like the person, what's to stop them just going, okay, you can do my laundry from now on and we won't go through the app anymore?
That could happen. That's a possibility. But the communication between them usually happens on the app interface, and we would handle the payment on both sides, so the washer wouldn't have to worry, are they going to pay me? Are they going to pay me enough? We collect all that up front, and then it's easier for the washer.
And in the end, it's your company that's building the trust.
Right.
The same as Pawpaws could call and just say, I'll look after your dog.
Right, I can have your dog sitter come, but there's insurance, there's liability, there's a lot that goes into it. But with your app, Laurel, is the communication shared, so is the employees' contact information given to the person, so they don't have it unless they catch you happen to pick it up or drop off. They really
and so do you just
no interaction.
You actually, when you join Hampr, you actually get physical hampers.
Yes, I have one if you want to see it later. Yes, you get a set of 4 hampers, and they're these pop-up hampers that you can also collapse and fold and put away if you're not using them. And basically, one hamper is one load. So you fill that up. It make sure it's not mixed colors or anything.
Can we squish it down really, really tight?
You can. You can squish it as long as the top zips. It's going to go in the hamper. It's going to go in the washer.
And
just
then
like that.
what happens? Do you leave it outside your door?
You can leave it anywhere that the washer could access it. So if you had it in your backyard and you told the washer, hey, it's in my backyard, go through the fence, you could do that. You could leave it on the porch.
Will this cause a spate of, laundry thieves?
Stolen laundry.
People ask me that all the time, but nobody wants your dirty laundry. I tell
Unless
people
to
that.
wash it.
Yeah. So I equate that to being at the airport and seeing the suitcases go round and round.
Nobody's gonna take
somebody could take it, but they don't.
Let's talk about competition. Both of you came up with these fantastic ideas. Are there people already doing it in other places? What makes you different?
There are people that franchises, some local vets that do daycare, boarding, and grooming, of course.
Is anyone using...
Not the concept that we have. There's some people that, there is a liability to have elderly people come in and take care of dogs. And that's why we don't let them take care of dogs. We simply allow them to provide some extra love and care, but they're not going to feed your dog. They're not going to medicate your dog. We're not going to put you with a dog that's 100 pounds that could drag you down to the ground. So we do limit some of their activities that they can do simply for the reason for safety, again, which is a top priority in every aspect of our business. There's really nobody doing that aspect. And then, just being locally owned, we have a little bit more leeway of some of the things that we can allow them to do. And
it's a genius idea.
It's a lot of fun.
Laurel, there are other people that offer pickup services and delivery for laundry. Is there anyone doing what you're doing?
Not the way that we're doing it. There are services that exist that do on-demand laundry, but they are either tied to a physical location and they can't scale as fast as we can, or they are using existing relationships with laundromats and dry cleaners, so they can't scale as quickly.
So putting together the people who can do the laundry and the people, that's a unique thing. Talking about scaling, are you both planning to go national or international?
I don't know if we'll go national. Probably maybe expand locally then regional. We have a lot of interest in what we do in the New Orleans market because that's where I'm from. So a lot of people, I've had people drive from there to here to board their dogs. So we have some interest there, and it's not something that we're opposed to.
But your mind isn't, let's franchise this and make this a thing that happens everywhere.
Not right now. If you ask my husband, he'll give you a different answer probably. But not right now. There's a lot to watch it grow appropriately, to not let it get out of control, to not let it, to lose focus of what we're doing. Sometimes you get into franchising and a lot of it is paying your franchise fees and making money.
It becomes about the business, not about the dogs and the
and
papas.
my concept is not for that. That's not why I'm here.
You're listening to Out to Lunch. I'm Aileen Bennett. I'm talking with Tracy Paco from Paws and Pawpaws and Laurel Hess from Hampr. Laurel, you're launching. How do you know someone else isn't doing this exact thing?
We don't.
Okay.
They very well could be. It's kind of a race at this point. So first to market, first to mind. So we are really aggressive in trying to get out as quickly as possible so that we can take over market share. And we have a really aggressive growth plan that will get us through probably 4 cities through the end of the year.
Tell us about the plan. How do people learn about this?
So initially, we're going to have a big push on social media, but we have a lot of influencers lined up locally that we plan to give memberships to use the service and talk about it. Tracy's one of them. So that's the first push, is just getting it out there, using a lot of PR in traditional sense, and then just scaling really fast. We can go into a new city, turn on the marketing, recruit washers, and be up and running within 3 months. And then that time period will shorten as we
we're all used to app launches now having funding and things. Did you go through a round of funding? Do you have other investors?
I am super lucky because I have 2 co-founders, one of which is a local entrepreneur, and the other is one of the original co-founders of Waitr. So we have been able to do a lot of internal funding. Our seed round was basically us, and we'll probably move to another round after we do a C-Corp.
Are you planning to catch up with Waitr?
I think we're actually going to probably scale a little quicker than Waitr because we don't have to make existing relationships with restaurants and have city managers and things like that.
Yeah, because they have that third party in the middle, which you don't have.
Right, we don't have that. So we're actually able to grow a lot faster.
Tracy, in my research, I read something that fascinated me. As a kid, you were scared of dogs.
Terrified. Absolutely terrified. We got a family dog, and I would stand on the kitchen counters while my siblings played with it so it didn't touch me. And it was a cockapoo. It was a 20-pound cockapoo. The cockapoos can't even do anything. They're smushy dogs.
How do you get from there to loving dogs?
Buffy was his name. He lived to be 18. He really was a turning point for me in my love for animals and my compassion. He taught me so much about dogs and just love, and he was there throughout high school for me, and the world changed for me with him. Terrified, absolutely terrified. And then to make matters worse, I married a guy that said we would never have dogs, and then here we are. I have 2 that live with me, and then I have a business where I get my fill all day long.
My husband was a cat man when he married me.
Yeah, my husband's like, every place I go, every house I go to that has dogs smells like dogs, and now I'm like, y'all, like the relationship he has with our dogs is outrageous. I'm like, y'all are ridiculous.
And you guys both know each other. You also write for the Lafayette Mums blog. How did that start? What do you write about? Just being a mum?
Different topics. Like today I had one about Costco travel. Booking a trip on Costco travel, taking a chance. I write a lot about adoption. I have a little boy that we adopted, so I became a mom an untraditional way. So I write a lot about adoption topics, just our experience with that, and then I know Laurel writes a good bit about funny things.
A lot of mine are
humorous.
If you see an anonymous post, it might be me, because a lot of mine I'm a little real. But I think it started in October of 2017. Is that right? Do you remember?
Yeah. It's been a year.
The people who started New Orleans Moms Blog came into Lafayette and started recruiting writers.
How do you have time to run businesses, have children, and write extra things for
We
a
just
blog?
don't sleep.
Yeah. We never stop.
I mean, we just don't sleep. I mean,
It is probably the one thing I wouldn't give up. Out of everything I have to do, I love. Even though we have to do 2 blogs a month, and it's a commitment, we have such a tight mom tribe from it, and we do stuff together, and we support each other, and I just can't imagine not being a part of it.
yeah, I mean, I have a lot of questions about being a mom. Just things that I just don't know because I missed. My little boy was 4 when I adopted him, so I missed like 4 years of growth and understanding. And so having the network, having the moms that have been there, it's made being a mom a lot easier for me.
Laurel and Tracy, this is part of the show we call Your Brother-in-Law. You're at a family birthday party for your cousin's second wife's nephew when your brother-in-law sits down beside you. He's got some business advice for you. Laurel, your brother-in-law says he doesn't mind doing his own laundry. What he really hates is ironing, especially his shirts. If someone could show up, take his shirts, bring them back ironed, he'd be happy to pay for that. And he bets he's not the only one. Your brother-in-law says you should start an app called Ironer, and he guarantees you'll make a fortune. What do you tell him?
Oh my God, do you know my brother-in-law? Because this happened. Actually, a lot of dry cleaners do that already. They'll pick up your shirts and press them and deliver them. So right now we don't see that hole in the market, but it is something that we could add on later on.
I was going to say, it would be an add-on service.
Yeah.
Do a lot of people come up now they know you've got an app and suggest those, you should do this, you should do that?
Or I have an idea for this or that, and it's like, I'm doing this app, I'm not interested in another one right now.
The idea is the easy bit.
That's right.
Right, yeah.
And I think people don't realize that. It's like, the idea is one thing, and I remember we went to lunch with Chris Moe when we first had this idea, just to run it by him to say,
Chris Moe's the guy who started
He
Waitr.
started
Waitr,
Waitr. Does this have legs? And he looks at me and he goes, okay, it's a great idea. You can do it. Like, you can do it.
Right.
And I will advise. But he did not. It was like, I've been there, done that. And now that I'm in it, I can totally understand that.
So do you tell people their ideas are good just to get rid of them when they come to you with them, or?
It depends. If it's really not a good idea, I'll let them know why I think it's not a good idea, and I'll poke holes in it a little bit just to get them thinking a little bit more. But if it is a good idea, I'll say, okay, here's what you need to do next, and give them 5 or 6 action items. And if they're serious, they'll do them.
Yeah.
So
And if
when
they're
you
not,
had the
they won't.
idea, you didn't go straight to Chris Moe. Who did you tell? Did you talk to your husband, your family, and did they think it was a good idea immediately?
I don't remember telling my husband, but we work together, so it's possible. I brought it up at a partner meeting with my partners on a Monday morning, and my co-founder Spencer kind of jumped on it, and we just started going back and forth, and that's kind of how it got vetted. And then we went to Chris after that. So I don't think I told my family until after we talked to Chris.
Tracy, your brother-in-law says he's got one word for you: Florida. There are more pawpaws in Florida than anywhere. You need to start up paws and pawpaws in Miami before someone else steals your idea. In fact, your brother-in-law says if you bankroll him, he's prepared to quit his job at Petco, move to Miami, and start up the company there. What do you tell your brother-in-law? Are you ready to expand to Florida?
I am not. He is right. There are a lot of pawpaws there, but those pawpaws are retired, typically wealthy, so they stay home with their dogs and hang out with their dogs, bring them to the park, bring them to the beach. Unlike where we are, where a lot of people are still working, so they need a place for their dogs to go during the day. So it's a different completely different demographic. The need in Miami, Florida is probably not consistent with us working class in Lafayette.
So where do you find your pawpaws and your mamas? We can't forget them.
Just we had Susie. I have to give a shout out to Susie. Susie's been with me since I was under construction. She just passed by one day and didn't quit. And Susie comes twice a week. And
They just wondering.
yeah. And we get a lot. We get some referrals. Actually, I had a lady that applied to be a volunteer and then ended up being an employee. So she works 2 days a week for me, and she does kennel cleaning. So she cleans our kennels 2 days a week. So really, it's just word of mouth. I worked in the healthcare industry with a lot of rehab type facilities and things. So a lot of them will send referrals our way, like, hey, I have somebody that just needs somewhere to hang out or doesn't have a reason to get up in the morning and went through a hip break or a knee injury and we're having trouble motivating them. Can they come? And the thing is with us is the answer is yes, you can come. You don't have to commit to a schedule. You can come for 30 minutes. I had a lady that pops in 30 minutes, like, hey, I just need my fill, comes in 30 minutes, loves on a few, and then leaves.
How old do you have to be just to pop in and pet a dog?
I mean, we don't technically have an age, so if you want to stop by.
So we could literally, I have dogs at home that need ear tickling, but I could stop by and tickle some ears.
Yeah, sure. We do have a volunteer application with a little waiver, just, because that's the nature of the business. But outside of that, yeah, sure. Stop in, love them. And the dogs love it just as much as you would love it. So it's mutually beneficial. And I love it. Like when my old people come in, I enjoy talking to them, interacting with them, knowing about their kids, their grandkids, what they're doing this weekend. Susie comes in, we'll talk about our birthdays are both in January, so where we're going to dinner or if we try to restaurant. So I get my old people interaction, which is one thing that I love. So it's beneficial.
So are your dogs there with you all the time, or are your dogs at home while you're looking after other dogs?
So my oldest dog, Chapatulis,
it's a great name.
She had some bad boarding experiences before we were open. So bringing her to work with me is a little PTSD for her. So she stays home, and then my boy dog that I got after we opened, his name is Paws. It was Paws in the shelter, so meant to be. He fell in love with his sister, Chapatulis. So when we separate them, like, he'll come to work with me, he'll board at Paws and everything, but when he leaves his sister, he gets really sad. Like, he almost likes her more than me, and that makes me sad. So, he used to come every single day, and then, like, the closer they got, the more hesitant he became. Like, I really just want to be with my sister all day. And if I leave, like, if I take one with me and not the other one, they come home, they, like, kiss and smell. It's the sweetest thing. Oh.
Laurel, you mentioned working with your husband. You have another company. You actually have a marketing company called Rally Marketing. What advantage was having that background to launch an app?
It definitely helps in terms of marketing the app and having that graphic designer to actually design the app and all of the collateral pieces that we need. So we kind of have a leg up. We got the website up really fast, socials up really quickly. We have the team already in-house. It's kind of like having a marketing department already built in.
So if someone out there's got an idea for an app and they're convinced it's good, do they immediately have to go and find that marketing team that you already had?
I don't think it needs to happen right away. In learning how Waitr got started, because they didn't have a marketing team right out the gate, they hired I want to say it was a college student to do the logo, and they offered him equity or money, and he took the money.
He took money, yes.
Oh my gosh.
We've all heard that story.
Yes.
So what's next? Are you going to run these companies, both of you, or are you going to move on to the next idea because you're idea thinkers? So is it let's do the next idea or let's expand this one? What happens?
For me, for the foreseeable 10-year plan, I'm running my company. I'm there every day, even on weekends. I'm there. I don't see myself not being there. I do have, let me say, I have a really great team. I have an operations assistant that's there when I'm not there.
So you get to take vacations?
So I can, not when you take vacation. I have to take vacations when everybody else isn't taking. Like Mardi Gras, I'm an off-season kind of girl because I'm taking care of your dog when you're taking your vacation. I can leave. I enjoy knowing my clients. I enjoy knowing the dogs. I enjoy seeing people come and go. So maybe in 10 years I could see myself venturing to somewhere else. But
when someone comes to you and they want to volunteer, I know you have qualified workers as well. They want to. Do you kind of, obviously they're going to like dogs. Do you test the dogs that you have to make sure they like being around people?
Well, I mean, yes. We have, number one, your dog doesn't have to, even to come to Paws and Paws, your dog doesn't have to like other dogs, but your dog has to like us. We have to be able to care for your dog. We have to be able to feed your dog. We have to be able to let it in and out. We have to be able to leash it. So, yeah, number one priority is, look, your dog doesn't have to be a dog person, it has to be a people person.
Interesting. Laurel, what's next? Is this an idea that you'll sell? Will you be on Shark Tank, get in extra money and selling, and then move on to the next idea? Or is this something that really you want to build?
I am an accidental entrepreneur. I never wanted to own my own business. I never envisioned myself that way. So I imagine I'm going to ride this wave for a little while and see. We do have an exit plan as far as, what we see happening in the future. But I'm probably with Hampr and Rally.
How long did you have the idea before you said it out loud to anybody else?
Probably a year.
A year?
A year. I sat on it for a while because I would just get angry at laundry. And then I would just kind of get over it and be like, this is life, just get over it. And then I came back from a business trip and I got really angry. And that's when the idea became fully formed.
If only someone could just show up and...
Yes. It's like if my friend who stays at home could just do my laundry. And that's kind of how it started.
Hindsight is 2020. Prediction is a little bit more difficult. Will Hampr turn out to be the Uber of laundry? Is Paw and Paws the kind of business model that can become a template for successfully engaging an increasingly large, aging but healthy workforce? Time will tell. Laurel and Tracy, we look forward to keeping up with both of you and wishing you the best of luck for your continued success. Thank you for taking the time to join me today on Out to Lunch.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My guests on Out to Lunch today have been Laurel Hess, creator of Hampr, and Tracy Paco, owner of Paw and Paws. You can find out more about Laurel's laundry and Tracy's dogs by following the links on our websites, krvs.org and itsacadiana.com. The producer of our show is Grant Morris. Our technical producer is Eric Morrell. Our researchers are Anne Christian and Ali Coates. If you want to know what we all look like, you can find photos from the show on our website, itsacadiana.com, and on our It's Acadiana Facebook page. These photos were taken by Lucius A. Fontenot. You can find out more about Lucius at lafphoto.com. You can get this show and past shows as a podcast wherever you get your podcasts, including Spotify. And you can find all of our podcasts at itsacadiana.com. You can keep up with us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and you'll find those links on our website, itsacadiana.com. Out to Lunch is a production of INO Broadcasting for itsacadiana.com and KRVS 88.7 FM. I'm Aileen Bennett. Thanks for joining me today. I look forward to meeting you again next week around the lunch table for more business Acadiana style on Out to Lunch.
Out to Lunch Acadiana is recorded live over lunch at Cafe Vermilionville in Lafayette. Cafe Vermilionville is open Monday to Friday for lunch and 6 nights a week for dinner, with a courtyard that sets the scene for fine Louisiana cuisine. The Out to Lunch Acadiana theme music, Encore Monsieur Nice Guy, is written by Mitchell Foreman and performed by Mitchell Foreman and Andre Michaud. Out to Lunch Acadiana business consultants are Pete Prados from Innovate Acadiana and Destin Ortego from The Opportunity Machine. Major support for Out to Lunch is provided by the law firm of Jones Walker, established in 1937 with over 375 attorneys in offices throughout the U.S., providing a comprehensive range of services to a local, national, and international client base. JonesWalker.com. And by Short & Associates, legal recruiters in Louisiana and Texas. Support for Out to Lunch Acadiana comes from the Wyndham Garden Lafayette, located off Pinhook near Khalees Saloon. Wyndham Garden Lafayette is a pet and family-friendly hotel with reception space for large and intimate events, free parking, free Wi-Fi, and a free shuttle within 3 miles that includes the airport and downtown restaurants.